let's focus on Castrol India. The company reported a decent set of numbers that came in. Revenues were up 6%, EBITDA was down, and the margins also were at around that 25.5% mark too. The net profit impacted by the labor code by about 22 odd crores. The new MD, the new leader of the company joins us now, Saugata Basuray. Thanks a lot, Saugata, for joining in. Congratulations on your elevation and appointment. And this also comes at a time when there is so much uncertainty around what takes place at the globe, right? Because the deal of the parent has been done. And what we understand is that Stonepeak in the past, whatever sort of acquisitions that it has made, it's gone ahead and delisted those entities. And that was one of those reasons why, as soon as the deal was announced, the next couple of days, the street was betting on something like that to perhaps happen at Castrol India as well. Whether that happens or not, there is uncertainty. But what have you heard of the change that has taken place?
Hi, good morning, and thank you for having me. Let me first address our fourth quarter numbers, if that's all right, and then I'll respond to your question. First of all, I'm very pleased to say that it has been 8th straight quarter of volume growth, and volume growth ahead of the market, which has resulted in share gain. This has come on the back of us as company executing the strategy that we had signaled earlier. We are building out our business in terms of reach into rural India in a big way. We are scaling up our industrial business, and we have had a lot of product innovations we've introduced through the year, which has enabled the core business to grow. And we are quite pleased with the results that we have seen at the end of the year. You are right in terms of the EBITDA margin. We had signaled that our EBITDA will be in the range of 21 to 24%. We actually come ahead of that. We are up beyond 25. There are some one-time charges in quarter four, but overall, I would like to reassure that the quarter four operating parameter of the business remain very strong. Strong balance sheet, very strong cash flow, which allows us as a business to respond to the environment very proactively. Stonepeak announcement has happened. It's a deal that is subject to closure, which has various regulatory things that will happen. As and when that closes, I think as a shareholder, they would announce whatever is next down the cards. But in the business at Castrol in India, we remain focused on executing our strategy, which is to go big into rural, scale up the industrial business, and we're also seeding in our services business.
Okay, all right, Saugata, but have you heard any kind of inkling whether or not there will be some action for the Indian entity? There's always that buzz, right? I've heard it for many, many years, actually. But now there's this fresh news that's come in.
No, we are not involved in those conversations. As an operating team, we are focused on our business.
So let's focus on business then, Saugata. As you indicated, we'll focus on that. Now, volume growth, I think, was close to around 88%. For this year, what kind of a volume growth are you looking at? And also, if you could help us out with how much contribution comes in from EV fluid sales. How much is it and where is it headed?
Right. So, look, I think for the volume growth, to talk about volume growth, one has to look at the perspective of the market. Our estimate is the market is slated to grow anywhere between 3.5% to 4.5%.
Got it.
What we aim for is to grow the top line, volume-driven top line of this business at 1.5 to 2 times of the market.
Got it.
And through that, therefore, gain share. And we are doing that by going deep into rural India because different parts of the country are growing at different rates. Different segments are growing at different rates. Our strategy is focused on tapping onto those opportunities and build the business to get, track growth as and when the market opens up. So that's what we are doing. To your second question on EVs, it's a growing part of the business, but small. Yeah, but we are positioned to take advantage as and when the market expands. In two-wheelers, for example, less than around 10% of new sales is EVs. In cars, it's less than that. But we have got good partnerships with most of the OEMs, and we have products in the market which are ready to be distributed as and when there's demand for that.
All right, so 3.5 to 4% is what the market is expected to grow. With your 1.5 to 2 times, you expect to grow between 6 to 8%. That's the inference that the street makes. EVs, yes, it is small in the overall scheme of things as well for the industry right now, notwithstanding the chatter around that. But industrial segment, you said that that's about 12 to 15% of your business, and you expect it to grow over a period of time. If you could give us a sense on what sort of targets you've earmarked yourself for the industrial business.
So I'm very pleased to say that the industrial business grew double-digit last year, okay, and that contributed to that 8% growth that you have picked up. We maintain that kind of guidance, which will be ahead of the average growth rate of the market. And because it's a smallish part of our business, it will grow much faster than the core business. We are focused on executing a strategy which is about growing into segments such as aerospace, cement, steel, where typically we had been underrepresented. And we have a team which is today going around the country, introducing Castrol to customers in this segment, because that's what Castrol has not traditionally been associated with. And we have seen success on that front.
So do you think the industrial business grows 2x of your core growth, which itself will be 1.5 to 2x of the industry growth?
So that's the kind of range that the industrial business has been delivering. And I expect the industrial business to sustain that level of growth.
Got that.
Okay, all right. Saugata, you've also indicated that, you are developing products for the data center business. Are you all in talks with hyperscalers, other big clients as well globally? Give us some color on this particular aspect.
You're right. And thank you for the question. Yes, we are in talks. And some of these are global accounts. As you can imagine, hyperscalers are businesses that set up data centers across the world. And there are trials that are happening in India. The trials are happening in different parts of the world. We are also putting innovation in those products and working through on what would be the next cycle of products that will enter into the market. So very much engaged. Again, a small part of our business and a small opportunity today, but positioning us for growth into the future.
From a data center standpoint, what proportion of their, BOM would be the product that you sell? We just want to understand, because by and large, the opportunity is huge. Everyone talks about that. But what kind of value chain benefit would accrue to players like you?
Look, early days to estimate that, because the technology itself is evolving quite a bit. Yeah. And there are different kind of cooling technologies in play. Their core business is not about manufacturing and producing something. So it's really about serving the requirement of removing heat so that the data centers operate at a high degree of efficiency. And we have got products which enable that particular outcome.
All right. Take that point. Thank you so much, Saugata, for joining in and giving us, your business outlook for the near term, though the street will also await what takes place in, the global parentage, the change that happens, and to the stock by and large. So that's the management, Nigel, of, Castrol.